The teddy bear. How did you get the name Teddy Bear?
I didn't give it to myself. First of all, it was some girl came into the gym and looking for a guy that looked like a teddy bear. Because I wasn't there, but the boys told me about it. So after that, it was just a teddy bear. It just stuck.
That's incredible.
And I kind of look like one, so just gotta embrace it.
Just roll with it?
Yeah.
I think a Viking, not a teddy bear.
Now, but Viking is like, so many people are already using that, so it doesn't really work.
The Viking teddy bear?
It's too,
The Nordic teddy bear?
too much.
All right.
I'm trying to change my name. Just let me be me.
Maybe by the end of the podcast, we can have a new nickname for you. Maybe it'll come up. Who knows?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. Well, Glenn, I've been trying to have you come on for a while because I've been watching, like, I'm an MMA watcher, right? I'm like the FBI of MMA, I guess, watching everything that's going on.
That's pretty accurate.
And, like other dudes, they just watch the UFC. They only know UFC. And, but not all the best fighters are in the UFC nowadays. They're everywhere. So,
That is true.
yeah, it is definitely true. You are on a 4-fight winning streak, right?
That is correct.
3 knockouts. It must feel good right now, like your career, your career where it's going.
It feels good, but it's just like you just gotta keep it rolling. Once you get like the 4-fight win streak or something like that, the pressure just starts building up again, and I don't like that. So
So you don't think about it too much?
No, I don't think about it too much. Usually, every time I start thinking about it, I just put too much pressure on myself about it.
Is that what happened? Like maybe earlier in your career, you're like, because you were on a long winning streak in the beginning of your career too.
Yeah, I've always been on these 4-fight win streaks, and I get a loss and back to the drawing board. But always after my loss, I never had 2 losses in a row, so I always like come back like a better me every time. So you win or you learn.
What is your total record?
16-4.
Jesus. Learn something new every day, don't I, Glenn?
You don't even know my record, George?
Probably should know that, shouldn't I?
How is he even coaching? You know what I mean? Like,
I knew it was something like that, but
He doesn't know shit.
oh, talk about coaching. Did you hear about this shit? Like, I wanted to bring it up because I want to kind of get your opinion about this, Glenn. There's coaches, right? And John Jones, he got busted for steroids and all that bullshit. And his coaches are like Jackson Winklejohn, right?
Yeah.
And Holly Holmes is supposed to fight Cyborg. And, Cyborg got busted for some shit back in the day. And Winklejohn comes out and says, we don't want to really, we want more for the fight against Cyborg because Cyborg got busted for steroids. But at the same time, he's the coach of John Jones. What do you think about that?
I think they're all fucking stupid. Everyone wants more money. They only want to fight this and this because of that and that. Just shut the fuck up. You're all in the UFC. You got a contract. Just fight. You're still getting a lot of money compared to us guys. So maybe we just need to shut the fuck up and fight each other.
Stop acting like bitches.
Yeah.
wow.
What do you think about it, like, George? Like, coaches are now coming out because you're a coach. Like, coaches coming out and like almost too much in the media. Because I think coaches, you could be in the media, but like Matt Hume. If you see Matt Hume, he just talks about his fighters and like keep it kind of even.
Yeah,
and shit.
I agree. I think that it's just kind of weird, like if I had an athlete that like was like whether or not he did or didn't, he's still like been in the spotlight, and that's been like a huge story as of lately. So I think that maybe it's his way of like saying like John isn't guilty or whatever, and that's why he said it. But I don't know. It's just kind of weird, like you have one athlete that's one of the best ever that's been in the headlines recently, like tons, for, you know, yet again letting everyone down and failing a drug test. And then at the same time, you know, you're saying like, oh, well, I don't want my athlete to fight because they have tested positive for steroids. Maybe it's his way of like trying to get her more money, but I would assume that he's not her manager and just her coach. But for me, like, if I had an athlete like as good as Holly Holm that was going to fight Cyborg, who I think has like a legit shot, I would be jumping all over it.
For sure. The I don't know, the coach is jumping in and like talking too much. I don't like it at all.
I'm not a fan of that either.
Only one who should be talking is Edmund.
Yeah, he needs to keep talking.
Yeah, he's the funniest guy.
And you're a big Chael Sonnen fan as well, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
I like Chael P.
Yeah.
But I saw that you liked one of his tweets earlier.
Yeah. But Chael is like, he's the greatest of all time. It's just how it is.
That's so great.
The greatest fighter of all time.
He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
You don't believe that?
Well, I don't believe that, but, you know, if you believe that, then it's all good with me. I could argue with you.
First, he beat up Anderson Silva for 24 minutes. Then he goes up and get a new title shot at light heavyweight, and he breaks John Jones' toe. And nobody done that before.
That's facts. That is facts.
That is facts.
So,
you know,
I feel like you and Chael should meet at some point.
Yeah, I feel that too. We have a lot of friends in common, like, because when I started out at Team Quest, and a lot of those guys trained with
in
Chael.
America.
No,
here, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys knew Chael and everyone talking good about him, and he seems like a good guy. He talks a lot of shit like in MMA, but when you see him now in like jiu-jitsu, he's just a totally different guy because he doesn't need that.
Well, he did create that move that.
Yeah.
He showed it to two people, and he was. Did you see that tweet?
No.
Talking about Mighty Mouse, he was like,
"Oh yeah. I did see that tweet."
Yeah, it was funny as hell. But no, I think he's a good guy too.
He just won the ADCC.
Yeah, he won the super fight, but then he lost. He lost to that Gordon Ryan guy, I think.
He's a wrestler. He's gonna do well.
Yeah, but still, like even winning a super fight in ADCC is pretty good accomplishment for a retired guy.
Yeah, just shows that wrestling is superior to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, Glenn is one of my favorites because he's a big believer in wrestling, and we call his takedown the Viking tackle because no one can stop it. But he doesn't. He trains a lot of wrestling, but not a lot of jiu-jitsu. And he's pretty open about it as well in his beliefs.
I'm not trying to hide it.
So it's not like an offensive type of thing. You just think that you just need to have a defensive style.
I don't know, but even though you have good jiu-jitsu, if you don't have wrestling, you're not gonna be able to use your jiu-jitsu. You're gonna stop pulling guard in MMA. I don't think so. And yeah, if you can't take someone down, you can't use your jiu-jitsu. So.
It seems like in certain weight divisions that it'd probably be almost impossible to pull guard. Don't you think?
Yeah. You're not going to see anyone pulling guard on Mighty Mouse or something like that.
That would be a terrible idea.
Only one, maybe like if you're Damian Maia or Verdum or something like that, you can pull guard, but otherwise you just fucking, I don't know, you're stupid.
You just get your face pounded in.
Yeah. I think Cormier said some stuff about that today about jiu-jitsu, like during the commentating. It might have been during Mighty Mouse's fight, I'm not sure, but he was saying about like the days of just like being on your back and submitting people are over, you know, unless you're like high level, like you're going to get punched through like every position, which made me happy because that's the same philosophy that I have.
Unless you're fatigued like Kevin Lee was.
Yeah, I mean, of course there's like, look, I've been submitted before and fell into it, and it hurts me to say that. But like it's a necessity that, you know, to have, but guys that are just like normal jiu-jitsu players 9 times out of 10, I don't think that they're going to submit people. I think it's like in this day and age, you have to work to get up or work to sweep and get on top, because unless you are submitting them right away, you're getting beat up or you're at losing the round. So
And then again, Tony Ferguson is pretty high level jiu-jitsu guy. He's
Yeah,
not,
for sure.
especially from his guard. He's one of those like 10 guys that can like pull off those submissions still. But if you look at the high level MMA today, you don't see that many submissions from the bottom, really.
Exactly, especially if you do not have takedowns.
True.
Yeah, if you do not have takedowns and get that dude's back on the ground, you're not going to be able to play anything. Especially, even like Kevin Lee, you could tell his submission game is not that great unless he takes your back.
Yeah. I think that Ferguson, because he's a pretty, good wrestler, I think that's like a testament to him being that good off his back because he is such a good wrestler.
Yeah, I think just that fight. What did you think about that fight, though? Do you think, like, it showed the weakness of Ferguson?
But I don't think the weakness as in what? Him getting hit or what?
He got mounted in the first round, and he's lucky that round was almost over. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that – I don't know. I mean, it could be a bunch of different things, but, like, I think that Kevin Lee is, like, good. I think he showed that he's good, in my opinion. But I think that, yeah, he did get mounted, but, he ended up making it through, and then obviously he got taken down again. But I think that he was just in his head the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that fight was not like a normal fight. There was so much, like, they were talking shit to each other. There was, like, a lot of emotion from both sides, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think it was a little bit different than, like, the normal scrap they would have had.
Yeah, Ferguson is pretty durable guy. He can, like, survive those tough moments. That's one of the things with him. But he showed he got tagged a lot, like, stand up, a little sloppy, but he's just, like, he just takes it and walks forward. So he's a very durable guy. He's
a beast. Like, that guy, yeah, he's very durable, and he's a beast. Like, remember when he fought that, I can't remember the guy from Jackson's camp, the newcomer that debuted against him?
Oh, the guy he fought earlier that night.
Yeah. And like, that wasn't an easy fight for most of the fight. Like, that guy was bringing it.
Yeah.
But he, like, weathered the storm and made it through, like, he's a veteran.
But the question is, can he weather the storm against Conor?
If he doesn't get hit with that big hand, yes. Like, if that punch, like, I think that's a good matchup, like, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
if he doesn't get hit, because he is a tough guy, and he is one of those guys, like Diaz didn't give a shit about, like, the status of Conor and this and that. Like, he truly believed that he was going to beat him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the type of person it takes to beat Conor. Someone that's got a good chin, which he does have a good chin, and he don't give a shit about, like, anything that Conor's going to say or, like, what he's done. Like, that dude he's an eccentric guy, and he, in my opinion, like, he believes that he's, he can beat him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Yeah, and Ferguson got the wrestling to maybe put Conor on his back too.
Right.
And he's got the cardio, like, to try to do it, like, over and over again. To look at, like, Alvarez, just, like, slowed down a little bit too much punishment, but, like, El Cucuy doesn't slow down.
I think that, I think him and Gaethje would be the two guys to give him problems.
Yeah. Gaethje's just, like, violent. He's just
he's very violent.
I don't think none of those dudes is gonna. I don't think Ferguson will beat Conor. I think Ferguson gets hit too much, and he's durable, yes, but if he get hits with that hand too many times, I think he'll be done in the first round.
I mean, I'm not saying that I think that he would win, but I do think those are the two guys that – well, and Khabib. I think that if Khabib can get to his legs, it's a wrap if he gets Conor down. But if he can't get him down right away, then, yeah. I think those three guys are the ones that are going to – the three that could beat him. And obviously Diaz, because he's already done it.
But which fight do you want to see, Glenn?
Diaz.
Yeah, so do I.
Of course. I don't understand what the fuck's wrong with Dana White.
Diaz already beat him twice, so he just need a third time now. Because the second decision was just bullshit.
That's just to make the third one.
Yeah, need a third one. Otherwise, Gaethje is already matched up with Alvarez, and see how that goes. And
what do you think about that one?
I think yeah, Gaethje is gonna win. Alvarez is tough, but fuck.
Yeah. But Gaethje, like Alvarez is really tough. Man, Gaethje is.
He just takes the punishment, and you get rocked like every single fight. You think it's done in every single fight, but it just like keeps going back with something worse.
What a legend.
I think the thing is, Eddie Alvarez was basically Gaethje before Gaethje was around.
Yeah, but
You look
Gaethje's
at
like
all his other
new
fights.
and improved like T1000 version of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then Eddie Alvarez been through so many wars where he's just gotten his ass whooped, like bad, to where I think that he's not going to be able to hang with Gaethje at all.
Yeah,
Alvarez
he's gonna
is
have to
get
like.
destroyed. Because Poirier was destroying him until until that bullshit happened. Alvarez.
Yeah, definitely.
And Poirier is like a gatekeeper. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
So Gaethje's like the one of the premier guys in that division.
Hey, did you ever see that thing talking about Poirier? The thing they had on like Showtime or something like 4 years ago about like before he started fighting, or like right when he started fighting. It was like a TV series or maybe it was just like an hour series or a documentary or whatever on like fighting, like how he like came up, him and like a couple other guys. It was a pretty cool documentary because he used to be like really overweight and just was like small town, like outside of New Orleans or somewhere in there from Louisiana. It was a pretty cool documentary. You should look it up.
Yeah, it was on YouTube actually.
Oh, I didn't know it. I didn't know they called it over in the Nordic country.
You see, we're a little bit ahead there. And we're like, we feel the vibes from Louisiana.
Yeah.
So let's get back to Glenn. Glenn, your last fight is at Rebel FC. Now, Rebel FC, they were like missing in action for a long time, and all of a sudden they had another show, which was, I think they had one show before the one that you went to, right?
Yeah, they had two shows now, like one before my fight, and yeah, them.
How was it? How was the experience of Rebel FC? Because George has the experience of going to Rebel FC a long time ago.
Because I fought on the Rebel FC, the first one in Singapore, a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
You did.
Yeah, 2012 or something like that.
God, you're such a veteran of Southeast Asia. I forget.
Yeah, so and that was a good experience, like the first Rebel show. And then they had some bullshit like when they had George on and shit like that. It wasn't George's fault probably, but
No, definitely was not my fault.
So yeah, with like paying fighters, but now they're back in action. It was a good experience. They like took good care of everyone, and from the first show too, I heard good things. Like they took good care of everyone, paid everyone, which is pretty important. And
that sabbatical must have got their shit together.
For real.
Yeah, no, it was a good experience. Like nothing bad to say. And I think these first two shows are just like tests for like next year, and next year they're gonna put on more shows because they had good amount of viewers on like Chinese TV. They actually beat ONE FC, so that was airing on the same night.
Oh wow!
So that was cool. And yeah, it was a good experience.
Yeah, I talked to one of the guys at Rebel FC, and it seems like they're getting their shit together. Like they want to be, like one of the big promotions in China, to where like they're bringing in foreigners, and it's not like they're gonna do like before. You know what I mean? They're gonna try to kind of continue the titles and shit like that. I think, because I think those contracts that they sign, like look at Kleber, right? Kleber's supposed to be the champion, but you don't hear anything about him actually going back to Rebel.
And he hasn't fought Rebel since we fought.
Exactly.
And now he's the KSW champion.
Yeah. So I think he probably stay with KSW, right?
And in the beginning, or the first era of Rebel, they were trying to like make it big in Singapore. And I think it's hard making it big in Singapore. It's such a small stage and too expensive doing shit there.
Yeah.
Unless you're like one that have like a lot of money and ready to lose the money, then it's okay doing the shit there.
But
where was your fight at?
This last one?
Yeah.
In Shenzhen. Yeah.
Was it nicer?
That seems like that's like the main location now. Shenzhen.
Yeah, like at the same venue. Alex fought on the same venue as me, like just a weekend before, and someone else fought like the weekend before that.
Oh wow.
So it seems
it's the city that's like close to Hong Kong, right?
yeah, it's very close to Hong Kong.
So it was a nice city.
Yeah, it's a nice Chinese city.
I understand what you're going with that.
Yeah, no, it was okay. It was okay. It's a good venue, like decent size and pretty packed, so it was good.
How did you get over to You're in Finland. You're over there in the Nordic areas, and now you get to Asia. Like, how did that even come about? Like, you coming over here?
First of all, I just wanted to go somewhere. Didn't really matter where it was. Started looking at my options, and then I found Thailand looks pretty cheap, and then I went up to Team Quest at first. I was just gonna go there for like a couple of months, see how it feels, and after that, I've just been on a roll. When you start looking at other options, like you don't have that many other options if you want to like live cheap and be able to do it for a long time. I've still been here for 5 years now almost, and not working a single day.
What's the longest that you've been home?
I think a month at a time. So it's been a while. And yeah, I needed to go somewhere because we didn't really have a big MMA team where I'm from. It was just like me and my coaches making it work. And you get to a certain level too, like you have to move to something bigger if you want to like make it or break it.
Is that why you went, George? Did you see the same opportunities?
No, I think that for me, it was just like.
Oh, you like the Asian girls. You just wanted Asian girls.
Yeah, of course. But that was an extra. That was an add-on. No, I came I came for the tryouts, but like in Atlanta, I was like very fortunate to have good coaches and very high level training partners. But yeah, I just came because I was like, because for me, it was because I worked so much. I was selling cars and it's like long hours in the car business. And I thought to myself, if I can do this and like speaking with like some of my coaches, like if I could come here, get the scholarship thing. And cause I didn't expect to like work here when I first came. Like after a month, I was like, trying to scheme my way in to be the wrestling coach. But I think that for me, it was just like, being able to train full time and not have to work in the car business or not have to work like that. Like the sponsors that I had that gave me a little bit of money, like would go a long ways here. Of course, like once I got here and after, 3 or 4 months, I became the wrestling coach. So I was very fortunate for that. And then from there, more, but it's, I think for me, it was just like, this is like the one place, like Glenn said, you can come and it's so cheap. Like, to have a room, like you can have a room for a month for like, literally you could find one for like, $150, but you can get something like decent for a couple $100. Food's cheap, like depending on where you eat or if you cook yourself. Like it's just like for a fighter, it really is like somewhere that you can bring whatever money you have and you can make, like you could do like an awesome fight camp here for really cheap outside of like obviously your plane tickets. Or if you like live here like he's done, like you can make a living here if you fight regularly.
So you guys are basically living the dream of a fighter to where you can just fight, train, and focus on that mostly.
I think he's living the dream as a fighter. I'm living the in-between dream.
I wouldn't say it's a dream. It's still a goddamn struggle every month, like to make like ends meet. Because if you don't have money here, you're fucked. If you don't have money at home, okay, it's not that bad. But if you don't have...
And when you buy snuffs for some asshole and you're chasing money down trying to get it from him.
And yeah, George who doesn't pay his debt, then it's like, I'm done. No, but it's not like any dream life. It's a good opportunity, but you're not living the dream life. Like I live in the fucking cheapest room I can find. I cook my own food. That's why I've been able to do this for a long time. People come here and they live in the dream life. It gets too expensive. You can't
on the Sunday brunches and
Sunday brunches and shit like that. You can't keep that up. If you want to stay here for a long time, you have to live like a Jew.
It's still living the dream though, because you're in paradise.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't worked a single day in 5 years. I couldn't even dream about that when I started. So I ain't mad.
So there's so like you're saying is there's a certain sacrifices you have to make, but it's not like you have to be at a job from 9 to 5 every day, you know.
No, definitely not. Before I came out here, I was fighting full time. I was working full time, training 5 o'clock in the morning, training 5 o'clock at night, working in between. So that sucked.
What kind of
Big-
jobs did you have?
Oh dear.
I was a lumberjack, and then I did a lot of extra shit on the side too. So
Do you want to go into that or no?
no, probably not.
Okay.
So I was able to,
You're cutting down trees and shit?
yeah. So I was able
Look
to,
at the guy.
I was able to save up a lot of money before I came out the first time. So, but nowadays people come out and think they're gonna like
Oh
just
yeah.
make it. They come out without no professional fight experience or anything like that, and they just come out here and think, oh, I'm gonna make it. Like they have no idea what like they're getting themselves into. It's gonna be fucked the first couple of years.
So it must seem like you guys run into a lot of people or fighters that go out there and they have this like illusion of like what's gonna happen. Can you give me an
Yeah.
example of somebody? You don't have to name any names, but can you give me an example that both of you guys ran into a certain person that you knew that they had a certain idea of like what they were getting into, but it was totally different in
I
Thailand?
think probably like 70% of the people that come out here have that fucking illusion. Like it's not that many people that are gonna make it out here.
I think there's two types of people. There's people that come here because you get it all the time. Like I get emails like on a weekly basis of like, hey, are you I'm so and so with this and that. I've done this. What kind of sponsorship can you give me? It's like, what? Like maybe you like should come here and train first, and then like we'll see about giving you a sponsorship. But like a lot of people expect free training and all the extra things that could be given, and a lot of people don't want to earn it. But then you also have like people like that aren't even fighters that just come to Thailand and like lose their mind and they're ready to quit their jobs and like move here, and like it's ridiculous. Like you have like people that come here to train that are fighters and then they love it and they want to stay, or they come here and they expect like a lot of stuff but haven't really earned it or even earned the right to ask for it. And then you have like other like normal people that just come here and like Thailand is they think is so awesome. But like where we live at is like not reality for foreigners. It's like where the road that the gym is on. It's like, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. People lose their minds.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, man. Like when you go out there, it's yeah, like you said, it's paradise. So when it's paradise, that's how you feel when you're there, right?
Sometimes I want to say to fighters like, hey, if you can't earn money, or if you're like hurting for money, go home and get a job and keep training and fighting, and then when you have enough money, like come back. But people feel like they sometimes like they should just be able to stay here, and train and fight and stuff. But like if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Man, that's pretty crazy.
And I think that goes for even like fighters back like in America and every other country. They feel like they should be, like, oh, I'm a fighter, like I need to train full time, and like it's just ridiculous. Like I remember working, like I did in the car business, and it's a lot of hours. And like granted, like I had health insurance, I drove a really nice car, and I lived in a really nice place, but like I worked hard for my money, but I was also, that allowed me to do what I love to do, and that was like fighting when I first got into it. And it wasn't like I guess maybe I had that illusion too, like when I was an amateur, because I had like 2 amateur fights, and I thought maybe I'm going to get like these big sponsors, and like once they see me fight, and then I'm going to get like, monthly this and monthly that, and I don't have to do it. But that's not the reality. Like, that's not how it is. To be honest, like Brad Riddell breaks fighting down very good for people. Like the chances of you actually making it are like very small. And then like the chance like anyone's going to like really follow you and care is even smaller than that. Like nobody gives a shit, And especially now in MMA, like it's not like it was with the sponsorships actually once you make it. I don't think like, people are paying you big bucks to slap their name on your shit anymore.
Definitely not. People are not ready to sacrifice or living the poor lifestyle.
That's
That's what you got to do. You can't, even if you have money, you have to always be one step ahead. Oh, what if I get injured now? I can't fight for this and this long. You always have to be one step ahead. And when you're not one step ahead, then you then you get stressed. You get stressed because if shit hits the fan, you fucked. It's like,
I think that's a good way to put it. We had this conversation the other day about like the generation of like guys fighting now. Like Connor's, like Coach Kavanaugh saw somebody share something that he had said, and it's like, it was talking about that, like, you know, fighters like now expect this and think that they're, you know, they've made it and they don't need to work and this and that, but like it's not reality, you know. It's even more competitive now than it was, you know, 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Like it's grown so much, you know. It's like almost watered down.
Well, there's definitely a bigger pool of fighters around the world, you know.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like think about how many good, like I see people coaching here on a daily basis and I'm like, I have no idea who that person is, but they're pretty goddamn good, you know? So it's not like it was like when I started, or it's not like it was even before, you know, well before I started. Like I feel like when I started fighting, it was like the new breed of like things changing and stuff like that. And it's definitely changed since then. But yeah, I think in today's, like in the current state of MMA that we're in right now, like as far as like what we're talking about, I think that a lot of people feel that they're really good and they deserve stuff, but really they don't.
Yeah, you got to put in the work and before you make it. It's
like, think about him. The guy's been living here for 5 years.
And even if you make it, it's no big paydays like until you get like to the big league. And even if you get to UFC, if you're getting paid 10 and 10, and if you lose, you only get 10. You pay taxes, you pay your manager. You're sitting there with like $5,000, and maybe you have like one more fight that year. It's not like you can't go out spending that. That's gotta cover a long time.
So it's like you have to have a side hustle. You got to do something else or make huge sacrifices in your life then.
Yeah, having a side hustle, I think is the best thing. Even now, I would want to have like a job outside, or just like a part-time job, so you can like find the balance between training and working. I don't want to like work fucking full-time or anything like that, but at least you have some kind of balance, something to do, something to take your mind off fighting and shit like that.
Be around regular people.
Not being around people, but but doing something.
Remember, today is his usually his day away from humans.
Yeah, I can't.
Going back to your job, right? Your lumberjack job. Like you were in the mountains cutting down trees, or where were you doing? What were you doing?
No, it started like when I was in Finland when we were like 15. We choose to like where we're gonna go to school, if we're gonna go to like practical, or we're gonna go some just I wasn't the smartest guy, so I went to like a practical school, like the forestry, and studied that for 3 years. And after that, I just started working, and working with that, and it was good. It was good money working with that in Finland, and but I'm not sure I want to go back to after doing this. But
is it really dangerous?
No, it's not. It's not like the shit you see in TV, like in America and stuff like that. It's not that. It's just
that just took all the cells out of it. Like I was thinking you were like 60 feet up with like a chainsaw.
No, it's not that. It's for me. It's just a job.
Did you have any other interesting jobs?
Yeah, I had some interesting jobs, but I don't know. Okay. We're gonna talk about that.
Well, if you would like to, it's okay.
No.
Okay.
I would ask you another question if you don't want to talk about your jobs.
Yeah.
You fought in the first Full Metal Dojo, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You fought. Who is a guy? Is he your teammate now?
Yeah. I was supposed to fight Joe Ray,
Yeah, that's what's crazy too. You're supposed to
So
fight Joe Ray, who is a teammate of yours now, but you ended up
Yeah.
fighting another guy who is a teammate of yours now. How
Yeah.
does it? How does like going into a gym or a camp and becoming teammates with the guy that you
And
already
Tariq.
beat?
And he was supposed to fight Tariq Sullivan.
I think like that was like my first thing, like going to Tiger, because I was like being set up, not set up, but I was like planning to fight a lot of those guys, and I fought some of those guys. But to me, it was just business. That was like a closed chapter. To me, it didn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
And I trained with a lot of my previous opponents. After I just put it behind me and you just move on.
For yourself, you can put it behind you, but then there's nothing like weird about that. Like, training with somebody is one thing, but being teammates with them is like another level, right? Don't you think?
No, I don't think it's weird, because it's
Mhm.
still a long time ago. If they haven't put that loss behind them, then okay, not my problem. I don't have any problem with it. So they should speak up.
Now, I've seen you in person, and you are a
Where?
big man.
Have you seen me in person?
Yeah, and a Tiger.
Oh yeah.
He didn't recognize the little Korean guy on the side of the mats, did he?
Maybe.
Am I that small?
Yeah, you're not huge.
Yeah, but there
well,
were like 4 of you guys there when you were here. So he was probably confused by with all the Shibasekis walking around.
that's
It is
right. That is right.
It is a lot of Asians here, so it's not easy.
I'm the light colored ones. I'm a light colored one. I'm not the darky ones.
The darky? Cut
What?
that
It's
out.
just dark, I'm not a dark skinned Asian. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I'm like white skinned Asian.
Yeah, but all Asians like claim to be white. Like Thai people you know how hot it is here, and they wear jackets around. Like my girlfriend, when we were on the motorbike today, she was like, had a jacket on. She's like, oh, it's so hot. I was like, well, take the fucking jacket off.
God
Like, yeah,
damn.
but I'm gonna get sunburnt. But really, she was just wanted to say I'm gonna get dark. But for me, like, I want to get dark, but I'm white. So yeah.
But she's already
Anyways,
dark.
Nah. I'm gonna tell her. I tell her she's honey. She's nampoon.
Okay,
Which means-
she's caramel.
Yeah,
She's
tan.
caramel. Yeah, caramel. But yeah, I seen you in person. You're fucking gigantic, man. Like, I don't understand, how did you make it down to welterweight?
Mate, if you could see his toes right now, you know how big he was. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know how I got down. Like, even looking at myself today, when I get down to like 185 now or to middleweight, I was just like, how could I like lose any more weight? It's not like possible. But I should have given it up, the welterweight thing, a little bit sooner than I did, because it was just taking too much out of me. It wasn't just the cut, but it was everything. I just like hated everything. I hated people more than now. I hated training. I hated everything. It just took everything out of me, just getting down there.
Why did you keep doing it?
Because it was hard to leave too, because I had good success there. And like, when I stepped in the cage, and I knew I was on the heavyweight side. It was just easy.
Are you the same weight now as you were then?
No, I was even bigger when I was welterweight. I'm smaller now. But
What did you walk around at?
100 plus.
God damn.
So
I need to convert that in my head because
220, 230.
oh my god,
So yeah,
that's insane. Like Douglas Lima is a big welterweight. He's like what he was back in the day, like 210, maybe a little bit less than like 210 when he was big. That's like big, but that is like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, I should have given it up a lot sooner than I did. It was just, my body was just taking a beating every time. And
how did you first go to 170?
No, because then it was like natural. I was just walking around at 185 when I first started. Then I was like 22, and then I like hit puberty or something at 22. A little bit late, but so I just started like getting bigger and bigger, and eventually I just got too big. Probably all the steroids. What do you think, George?
I don't know, Glenn.
No, I don't do steroids. Yeah, so got too big for it.
So now you're at like weight that you're comfortable at?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable.
Is it still like real hard for you to make 185?
No, it's not like last 2 times I just woke up on weight. I haven't like dehydrated anything, so it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, you've been having some good success.
Yeah, and it makes everything around it more fun. Like you can focus on training instead of just focusing on cutting weight. That was fun.
I understand that. Like I've never really had to do that for MMA, but like I know because for wrestling, you know, it's different. Like in college, like you're making weight twice a week most of the time. You know, November to March when the national tournament is. Sometimes you make weight twice, you know, 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, depending on the tournament. So I can understand like when you're always cutting weight, man, it really like it messes with you because you're not like improving as a fighter or as a wrestler. You're constantly, it's on your mind all the time. So I can understand that. That sucks.
Yes, George.
I would hate to see, I'm glad that you're not cutting weight like that anymore because he scares me now as it is occasionally.
Yeah, I had a lot of anger management issues when I was like at 170. It was like,
because the thing with Glenn is like you don't know with his personality and sense of humor, you don't know if he's like really angry, if he's just like, you know, messing with you.
I'll never mess with George.
Well, you know, now you're a Tiger, so you got a lot of dudes coming in, like big dudes. So how does it feel to have like, you know, because usually most of the guys in your camp are like a lower weight division guys, right?
At Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great because, you know, now we have him, we have Jake, Tariq's going up in weight. Like we're getting bigger guys.
Oh, okay.
Mark, his crew, we're just training there. So it's good to have, you know, bigger guys coming into camp. Misha Serkinov's here right now. So it's good.
Yeah, that's always the problem. Like with the higher weight classes, to find people to train with, like find those big bodies.
Especially in Asia.
Yeah, because if you're a middleweight, you have to train with middleweights, heavyweights, light heavyweights. You can't be training with those midgets. It doesn't work. Like.
So no sparring sessions with sessions with Top Noi.
No, I think the older Hickman put on a.
Me.
Or the bigger.
Yeah.
Not you.
Oh, my brother. Yeah.
Frank.
My brother. Well.
Frank, the alpha.
The alpha. That's what they call him, the alpha. But it's only because of wrestling.
Oh shit! You're trying to downgrade your abilities?
No, I mean in the wrestling world, in the world of like hand-to-hand combat, I'm the superior. I'm the alpha. But in wrestling, he's the alpha now, and he has been, you know, since I left college. So.
Well, you know, that's how it works sometimes. You guys got to work together, right? Now, what are you going to be doing now, Glenn? Are you going to go back to Rebel? Because it seems like they're going to have more shows. Are you, like, in contact with them? Or are you working?
Yeah, but they don't. Rebel's going to have their next show in end of January. So I'm looking to fight somewhere else here in between. I haven't got anything confirmed yet. I have a lot of people offering me fights that I was saying yes to, but they seem to be falling apart now, so I don't know. But hopefully, it's not like I'm not a guy who fights for the same organization over and over again. I think my last 10 fights been in 10 different organizations, so it's like wherever suits me. I'm not.
But would you like to focus on one organization and fight for one organization?
Yeah, if you found someone who like puts on regular shows, like you have these organizations that, oh, we're gonna do this and this and this, and then they do shit, and then you're sitting there. You can't put all your focus onto one. Like it's like put all your trust into one organization, and then nothing happens, and you turn down all these other fight offers.
Unless you were like signed to a big.
Yeah, if you signed to like UFC or Bellator, then it's like different. But you can't keep signing to these small organizations because you might not be fighting. You just gotta take whatever's offered that suits you.
But even in the UFC, it seems like some of those guys, they sign with the UFC and they fight like once a year. So it's kind of getting, it seems like being a free agent is actually helpful.
Yeah, but in the UFC, they're still, even though they're fighting once a year, they're still getting fight offers. They still have like a certain amount of fight offers they get every year. But maybe they just choose to fight once a year. So, but being a free agent, like, it's probably, if you're here in Asia,
it's good.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing.
So what about like Ryzen and those types of promotions? Do you have contact with them and trying to get any fights over there in Japan or something like that?
I would like to fight in Japan. That would be like,
awesome.
That's probably the dream, like fighting in Japan. But Rising, they only have two shows a year.
Yeah.
And not that many fights. It's not that many spots on the card. And so it's very hard to get on that card. If you get on that card, you're lucky or you're famous or something like that. But I'm not there. But yeah, it would be fun.
You could get lucky.
I doubt it.
What other big names from the Nordic country are there?
Gustafsson.
Yeah, outside of him. I mean, like, okay, Sweden, I would say would be the most well-known, but from like Finland and things like that, or other.
We don't have that many big names, really. Like, we have a lot of good fighters.
So when's the next UFC Sweden?
Fuck do I know? Do I look like I'm from Sweden?
Yeah, but that's a Nordic country that. Yeah, you were born in there, weren't you?
I was born in Sweden. I was born in Finland, but I speak Swedish.
Okay, well, that's what I was meaning to say. I'll take that on the.
There's a lot of good fighters there, but the problem is it's like they don't want to leave the country. A lot of good fighters in Finland, but they don't fight outside Finland. They fight in Finland, maybe in Russia, something like that. But they just stay there, and I don't really believe in that. If you want to make it, you have to like go outside the comfort zone and do something else. But other than Gustafsson, like, we don't have that many big names. Like, you Americans would know.
Yeah, Gustas is probably the biggest name. He's just worldwide. If you watch MMA, he's just in the conversation.
Yeah.
Then now, what is your thoughts on all the shit that's going down with, like the UFC? Let's talk about some UFC stuff or even Bellator. Like you're middleweight. So if you go to the UFC, who you fight?
Who's the champ? No, I don't know. If I come into UFC and or something like that, I just fight whoever. You gotta fight whoever that gives me. Like, you can't start calling any shots there. Just whatever. And I don't really have anyone I want to fight, like, in an organization. I don't.
That's how I am.
I haven't like built up that hate towards people.
Say whoever.
Yeah, whoever. And whoever that gives me, I'll just find something to not like about him. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're on a pretty decent streak right now, to the point where it wouldn't be a big stretch if one of those promotions picked you up, like at the right moment. Like, it's like you said, like maybe they would have a show in Finland, and maybe they would have another show in Sweden. You'd be one of the guys that could probably fit in and get signed by like even Bellator or the UFC. Do you kind of see that happening?
Yeah, especially now because UFC want middleweights now, so that's why I'm also in a good spot. And in Finland now we only have 2 guys and 1 girl signed to the UFC, so we don't have that many people on there. So I had that on my side.
What 2 guys are signed?
Teemu Pakkalen and Makwan Amerikani.
I think I know Amerikani.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler. And yeah, that Teemu Pakkalen, I beat him when I was an amateur. Yeah. Back in the days. So I got that talking for me, and UFC want to build something here in Asia too, and I've been here for a while. So I got something going for me.
Yeah, they got that Shanghai card coming up too. to where
And he's got the looks.
Yeah, I could be like their new Sage Nordic,
The Nordic version.
Sage Nordic cut.
And you're just good.
seems like
Yeah.
you're enjoying your life though, right now. Do you think so? Or
Yeah, it could be worse.
Think about getting those paydays. You wouldn't be living where you're living now.
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
You would?
Yeah. Like
That's
I
a
said,
smart man.
like I said, even if you make it to UFC and get those bigger paydays, maybe you can think like 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead. You can put some money away. Like once you're retired, it's not like you have a big retirement fund to
Fair one.
like sit down.
Probably should start taking advice from an athlete over here.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying life. Could be worse. I always think about going back to 9 to 5. That's always worse. And I usually
That is definitely
I
worse, my friend.
usually retire once a year too, because I'm just like sick and tired of it. And then it goes like a week, and I realize I don't want to go back home, so I just go back.
so you have a reoccurring retirement every year.
Yeah, last year I was retired probably for a month.
Is that when I saw all those photos of you with like in the snow and like fires?
No, then I was just home for vacation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after my last loss, I just like retired. I was just like, fuck this shit. And then like took a while, and I realized I don't want to go back to a real job, so I probably have to fight again. So went back to training, and then it was fun again. Then beginning of this year, I retired too, because I was just sick and tired again of it. I just keep retiring. But here I am, talking shit with George.
Yeah, I think that retiring is, especially in like an individual sport, because fighting is an individual sport, right? So retiring is something that it can never be really taken too seriously by anybody that retires.
Yeah, and most fighters that retires, they don't have any money or anything like that to like take it easy, relax a little bit, go for a vacation to Hawaii or some shit. And because when you retire, you have to go straight back to work or straight back to something.
Yeah.
Make the money. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Just say hanging the gloves up.
Yeah.
For a brief amount of time.
And yeah, you do basically just taking a mental break.
I think that's a good way to put it, like taking a break.
Yeah.
Because it is mentally draining, like all the shit that goes with it.
Yeah.
How about that movie that's coming out with Connor?
Oh, his documentary?
Well, whatever's supposed to be it's in the theaters, right? Has anyone seen this? I've seen it on Facebook and his Instagram, and like it's supposed to be like a whole thing about like his come up when he was like dirt poor and to how he is now.
Yeah, but I don't think it's worth going to the movie theater to watch that shit though.
Nah, bro, I'm gonna get that shit on fmovies.io, but
PirateBay.com. Use that VPN.
Or piratebay.com.
Yeah, piratebay.com is probably the best.
Do you have to VPN it here?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Piratebay.com.
But protect
in Asia,
your
it's
privacy.
the best.
Piratebay.com. That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Asia, it's like the best to use if you're in Asia.
Yeah, Americans don't know about Pirate Bay. I think it's banned in their freedom country.
Yeah, I think like their freedom.
Well, I've learned a lot. Like living in Thailand for almost 4 years has been like another education in itself. Like it's like another university I'm going to. Because
it's the people that you meet, though. Like you meet people coming from all over the world, right?
Right. The culture, like the different cultures that you know. Like, so here's a good one. Did you know that is Everlast? He's Muslim, correct?
No.
Are you sure?
Everlast, the rapper?
Yeah, that sung the anthem today for the UFC.
He's Muslim?
That's what. Hold on, we need to get confirmation.
The White Trash Beautiful singer?
Yeah.
What?
No.
The American rapper, yes.
Is he Canadian?
Because one of my friends put on Facebook, like, oh, it's I see you UFC, and they were saying like that he was Muslim, and I thought before I saw that, because I had no idea, he almost looked Chechen because his mustache was shaved.
Who? Everlast?
Yes,
The
converted to Islam in 1996.
What?
Yeah. And the only reason that it literally crossed my mind, because like the only Muslims that I've seen really like that are Chechens that have their mustaches shaved. So like, I was like, man, I think he's Muslim. And then my friend posted that, and I was like, oh shit. And I commented and I said something, and he was like, yeah. And he explained it to me, because I didn't know like the whole thing behind it. But like, yes, living abroad has been like a different education with the people that you run into, the different cultures. So I'm proud of myself about that.
For sure. Like you run into some wild people and some wild stories and wild
Just being wild.
personalities.
Being wild.
You're just being wild.
Just
George.
being wild. Like Glenn, he's a wild guy.
No.
Yeah. Where would you ever meet each other? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, you guys come from two different countries and you're in another country, not really living the dream, but living the dream. You know what I mean? Like doing.
We're living it.
We're living some kind of dream. Some kind of dream.
We met each other at a restaurant randomly last week.
Yeah, we had breakfast together, me and George.
I learned a lot about him. And there was this girl sitting next to him, and I thought he was with this girl, but he really wasn't. It was just like he was there, and then like 3 other people came and sat down with him.
No, it was because it was a pretty hot girl. So George was walking like, she with Glenn? I just saw that look right away.
That's not the case, because
it was like looking like this doesn't look right. It was like, nah.
she was Caucasian, so I wasn't interested. But then like when I sat down, because I didn't know if Glenn had a girlfriend or not. Like as I've said recently, we've been doing a lot of bonding. And yeah. And I thought she was with him, but then she wasn't. And that's when he started telling me that Sundays were like his days away from people.
So that was like his way of saying like, get the fuck away from me.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But then we had a good moment.
We've had a lot of good moments recently.
No, we have.
The definition of good moments is different with you, both you guys, right?
Yeah,
probably.
Listen, I just can't wait until he takes me somewhere to corner him sometime.
I'm never bringing George somewhere to corner me.
I hope he does, because it'll be so great.
That would be the. Go ahead.
I can't see myself traveling anywhere with George. Just walking around being Asian. And
he's talking about my Instagram photo. I've gotten a lot of shit for that photo.
Yeah, that is Asian though.
Yeah, but I will stay out of your hair. Okay, up to you.
Full blown Asian right there.
It is.
Yeah, man. Like, other than that, it seems like you're on a good like trek of your career right now. So it's just like getting another fight before the end of the year, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get one more now, end of the year, and then
where are we going?
We might be going back to Aussie land. Hopefully, Aussie land or China. See.
All right. Well, we could go to Australia, but you might be going to China. Joking.
Yeah, it would be good to get one. It's fucking bad.
Depending on where you're at.
Yeah, it's definitely bad.
It's different. Australia's much better than.
I've never been to Australia, so I don't know.
Yeah, I like going to Australia. I like the Australians. Yeah,
I was gonna say he knows all the Australians that are like the MMA fighters that come over, like Ty Tuivasa was just here. He was just like giving them shit. I had no idea that they even knew each other.
Yeah, even though I only been to Australia twice, but you get to know so many people there and like cool people. Australians are my favorite people.
Really?
Yeah, they gotta be my favorite people.
What about Americans?
I couldn't hear you. It's a bad connection. No, they're great.
They're great. Especially my brother and me.
Especially when they're asleep.
But yeah, man, it was good talking to you, George.
Peace.
What's going on? Do you ever go and corner people, Glenn?
Me?
Yeah,
No, I'm like the worst cornerman they can get, so I don't do that.
you just kind of chill out.
No, I haven't had. I would probably go corner someone if they were going to some place other than China, but I've been trying to stay busy myself, and always when you go corner someone,
It takes away.
yeah, and it's even even when you go corner someone, even though you don't have expenses, it's still like
It's an expense.
yeah, it's still an expense, and you can't expect like the fighters to start like paying for your shit, and like that just feels wrong, and so it is what it is.
So you kind of, when you go corner somewhere, you kind of actually have to spend more money.
Yes, unless it's like for a good promotion that's giving them a good per diem, and then at that sometimes like the fighters will be like, hey, here's your per diem, or like if it's a good per diem they get, they'll always, for the most part, they've always been good to me. Hey, here's the per diem. But then you have like, what do you do when you have like broke fighters? Like whenever I take the Thais to fight, like around Thailand, it's always an expense. I always leave and come back with a lot less money coming back than when I left. But even at that, like, going to other countries, like if it's a fighter that's making, whatever it is, not a lot of money, and the promotion gives them a shit per diem or doesn't give them a per diem at all, then yeah, it's usually like, you have to pay.
So cornering in some aspects is like, someone's not taking care of it, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it depends on the fighter, like honestly.
Financially,
yes, well, financially, like I've had a lot of fighters, that are, you don't have to pay for anything; they pay for your meals, and then some that are, not. But I would say most of the guys that I've come in contact with have been good.
Does Alex Shield pay for meals?
Yes, Alex Shield would pay for the meal. Yes.
That's very un-Jewish of him.
I think he's got good etiquette like that. I told him the other day when I hold pads for him that when he starts making all kinds of money, that he's gonna have to start paying me.
He should be paying cheap ass.
Alex Shield. No, Alex is good, man. Like he always like, when I corner him, he'll buy me beers after the fight and like pay for dinner and stuff. Like he's always spot on with it. But yeah.
All right, we'll end it with that. We'll end it with us bagging on Alex. And hopefully,
fuck you.
Alex. Hopefully you're listening. But anyways, thanks, Glenn, for coming on. It was good talking to you. Hopefully I'll have you on again before the end of
closing statement.
Closing statement?
Yeah.
No, I'm just glad it's over.
Anything you'd like to say to the past guests?
The past guest? Who's been on?
Alex.
Yeah, I always said fuck you, Alex. And yeah, fuck him too. He cornered against me, so yeah. No, I like him.
Yeah, there's been a lot of past guests, but I think that could suffice.
I think that covers it good right there.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
Peace out.
Yeah, smell you. Kumite Radio.